Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia, and as you can tell by the title of the video, this is the greatest ever 1 to 17 rugby league team that I have ever seen. But I'm not going back to the 80s and the 70s and all of that, because I didn't see that era. There are players in the era that I did write down that I didn't see a whole lot of, but I think they are worthy of being on this team. So a lot of these players are going to be probably from the 2000s onwards. A couple of them back in the day, but anyway, let's get into the video. So I don't want to get any criticism, man. This was such a hard list. Took me a good half an hour to put it together. There's a couple of players out of position that are in this team only because I feel like I need to be in this team. So let's get into it, guys. So I'll go through the 1 to 17 and then I'll talk about why I've got players in certain positions. Fullback, I've got Billy Slater. On the wings, Brett Morris and Wendell Sailor. In the centres, Greg Inglis and Mal Meninga. 5'8", Jonathan Thurston. Halfback, Andrew Johns. The front row is Sam Burgess and Shane Webke. The hooker is Cameron Smith. The second row is Gordon Tallis and Steve Menzies. The lock is Jason Taumalolo, and the bench is Cooper Cronk, Petro Sevenasiva, Steve Price, and this one's a bit controversial, but I don't care, Paul Gallen. That is my team. Now let me just go through it individually why I've got each player in every position. So I'll start with Billy Slater at fullback. I believe he's the greatest fullback that's ever played rugby league, personally. I think, you know, what he's done for Queensland and Australia, missed 2.5 years of pretty much isolation, returned, won the grand final his first year back. He is the most consistent and the best fullback that I've ever seen, and I think it's a no-brainer that Billy Slater makes this team. The wingers, I've got Brett Morris and Wendell Sailor. I think I'll start with Brett Morris. Brett Morris has been in the NRL since 2006, 2007. He's scored so many tries, played so many games for New South Wales and Australia, very consistent, played for a couple of clubs now. I still think he played his best football at the Dragons, but that's just my opinion. Played really well at the Roosters and the Bulldogs he was at as well, which was quite good. I think he played his best football at the Dragons. That's when he had his speed, where when Brett Morris would make a break, you weren't going to track him down. It was night-night. Turned the lights out. It was gone. Good night. One of my favourite wingers of all time. One of the best, I believe. And there's other guys you can probably put in over Brett Morris, but I think Brett Morris deserves to be in this team, and that's why I've got him on the wing. The other one is Wendell Sailor. Now, back in the day, Wendell Sailor at the Broncos, he was just like another front row, Wendell. Him and Lottie Takuri had a great combination back in the day. And then he left and went to rugby union for a while. And then he came back to the Dragons in 2000 and I think it was late 2008 it might have been. Excuse me, a bit of a fucking blocked up nose. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, Wendell was an absolute legend. And I think it's a no-brainer that he makes this team. I think he was always going to be picked, but it was always going to be a really tough decision. But, yeah, I think Wendell makes the team. Centres, Greg Inglis and Mal Meninga. Now, is Mal Meninga the best centre that rugby league has ever seen? Probably. I think it's a no-brainer that Mal Meninga makes this team. I didn't see a whole lot of Mal Meninga, but when I did, my eyes were right on that TV. So, and he's done so much for Queensland, Australia, Canberra. Meninga's a legend, and he is a no-brainer for this team. And Greg Inglis, probably the best strike centre that I think I've ever seen, and what he could do in a game, even when he played fullback, 5'8", he won a grand final at 5'8" even as well. He is just absolutely out of this world, Greg Inglis. Is Greg Inglis a future immortal? I would say yes. I hope so. He's done so much for the game, Greg Inglis, especially in the Indigenous community, especially in that part. I think Inglis definitely makes his team, no questions asked. The halves, well, this was very tough, but for me it's easy because I saw these guys. Jonathan Thurston and Andrew Johns. I've said it before, JT for mine, he's the greatest player that I've ever seen, along with Cameron Smith. I can't split them. I really can't split them. Thurston's one of the best halfbacks, all 5'8", don't matter, of all time. He could play both positions and still be the best at it. I believe he won the Golden Boot at halfback and 5'8". He won a Dally M at halfback and 5'8". 4 Dally M medals, 2 grand final wins. He played about 36 State of Origin games in a row or something. Played for Australia so many times. Won the game for Queensland and Australia a lot of times. Done so much for the Cowboys. He is one of the best that I've ever seen. And with Andrew Johns, probably the greatest halfback New South Wales I've ever had. One of the best players of all time as well. Done so much for Newcastle and New South Wales, and Australia as well. Obviously, the grand final in '97 where, he won the game for him. And in 2001, what they did in the first half against Parramatta in that 2001 grand final, and what they did and what Joey did in the 2005 Origin series when he returned, that was just unbelievable. Probably the greatest individual performance that I've ever seen in Origin 2 and Origin 3. He makes a team quite easily. The front row. This was hard, man. Sam Burgess and Shane Webke. Shane Webke is probably the best front row prop that I have ever witnessed. What he done, oh my god, he did so much for Brisbane. He was an absolute nightmare for the defence. I remember back in the day where it was Origin time and it was always Shane Webke versus Mark O'Mealy. I remember Mark O'Mealy and Willie Mason versus Shane Webke and Petro. I just absolutely loved it. Two of the Shane Webke, man, one of the best fucking forwards that I've seen. Seriously, unbelievable. You'd be mad to keep him out of your 17. And Sam Burgess, probably the greatest English rugby league forward that's ever played. I know Adrian Morley would come close. James Graham would be up there. For mine, I don't think any of them come close to Sam Burgess. Sam Burgess is, in my opinion, the best England forward that has ever played in the rugby league. I think it's a no-brainer that he makes the 17 somewhere. He makes a team somewhere for sure. And hooker, Cameron Smith. I'll say it before, and I'll happily say it again, to just piss off the Cameron Smith haters. Cameron Smith, probably the greatest player that I've ever seen. He's played 400 games plus, the most games of any rugby league player. He has played so many games for Queensland, Australia, the Melbourne Storm. If Cameron Smith didn't retire, if that whole salary cap thing didn't happen for Melbourne back in 07, 09, Smith would be on 7, 9, 12. He'd be on 4 premierships, Cameron Smith. Cronk would be on about 6. So it's insane how that actually happened. So probably the greatest hooker that's ever lived. Greatest player of all time, along with Thurston. I can't split them. And for mine, Cameron Smith is the GOAT. The back row, Gordon Tallis and Steve Menzies. Gordon Tallis, probably the most damaging back rower that has ever played rugby league. Probably the most aggressive as well. I remember in Origin when he fucked up Brett Hodgson. He dragged him about 20 metres and just threw him over the sideline. I thought that was quite insane. He's an absolute legend, Gordon Tallis. Might be a bit of a show pony on Fox with the Matty John show and stuff, but if you look at Gordon Tallis' rugby league career, he was an absolute fucking nightmare for the defence. He always got him nervous, whether he'd be playing outside Lockie or someone else. You get the ball to Tallis, the the defense is nervous. You know, he runs at the back. He runs at the 5'8" or the halfback. The back row is worried about him. The center on the outside is concerned about the 5'8" for the half on that side. And then the winger's got to make a decision whether to come in or stay out. So he gets the defense so nervous, Gordon Tallis. Absolute legend. Makes this team easily. And Steve Menzies. This was tough. This was really tough to put in. But I think Beaver makes the team, man. If you count the NRL and the Super League and you combine it together, he played over 500 games, Steve Menzies, Beaver. Done so much for Manly. Won him a grand final in 2008. Was unlucky in 97. I think it was at 97. Didn't win that year. And then 2008, I think it was his last game for Manly. Scored a try in that 40-0 grand final domination. I think Beaver is a legend. One of the best back rows that I've seen. I remember as a young kid watching the Beaver playing unbelievable football at Manly. Playing alongside guys like Matt Orford, guys like Jamie Lyon, you know, guys like the Stewart brothers, Watmo, all these guys, you know. I think Beaver is in my back row. I think he deserves to make the team. And my lock is Jason Taumalolo. Bit of a controversial one. I know he hasn't retired yet. He's probably still got about eight years in him or something. I don't know how old Taumalolo is. He's not even in his 30s yet. Probably the most let's just say, okay, I'm going to say it. The greatest rugby league lock that I think has ever played rugby league. Every time he gets the ball, he always attracts defenders. He gets them nervous. Especially when it runs up in the middle. About 3 of them are just like, oh, fuck, we've got to get him. Or he's going to run 80 metres and score. He's going to break through us. He broke the record earlier this year. 345 metres in a game of running metres. That is just unbelievable. Probably the best rugby league forward since maybe Gordon Tallis and Shane Webke, to be honest. I think Taumalolo is the best forward in the NRL. Probably the best since Tallis and Webke, maybe Sam Burgess as well. But Taumalolo, probably the greatest Tongan, New Zealand, I think he's a Kiwi, Tongan, New Zealand international that's ever played. And when he retires, I think he'll be the best forward that's ever played rugby league. So when he retires, it's going to be quite scary looking at his stats and looking at his numbers. So that'd be a nightmare. Let's get to the bench now. Cooper Cronk. He's won, 4 grand finals? What did he win? 2012, 17, 18, 19. He's won 4 grand finals. He won 3 in a row. He would have had 6 grand finals if it wasn't for the Surrey Cup breaches back in 07, 09. So, unbelievable career from Cooper Cronk. Makes the team on the bench. I can't start him over Thurston and Johns. I just can't. Seriously. Cooper Cronk only made the Queensland team because Thurston offered to move to 5'8". If Thurston wanted to be a dickhead, Thurston could have played 7 and Cronk probably wouldn't have made the team, so he would have been on the bench. But Thurston went, you know what, I'll go back to 5'8". We'll get Cooper Cronk here and we'll dominate for Queensland for fucking 10, 15 years, and that's pretty much what they did. So that dynasty was untouchable. Cronk done so much. Now, a lot of people are saying Cooper Cronk's career better at the Roosters or the Storm. Overall, I would probably say Melbourne still, but let me just say this. Cronk at the Roosters? Fuck. What about that stint at the Roosters? Won a grand final every year. Had a 100% record rate of winning a grand final and making top 4, or top 2 actually, so that's frightening. You could argue Cronk's career was better at the Roosters, but I would still say Melbourne, but Roosters, I wouldn't argue with you if you did, personally. Other players I had, Petro Sevenasiva. He's an absolute workhorse, Petro Sevenasiva. I could have easily started him in my team, but Petro is one of the best front rowers that's played rugby league. He played till he was about 41, I believe. I remember the 2013 Rugby League World Cup. He played for Fiji and he was about 40, 41. Respect to Petro Sevenasiva. one of the best front rowers that's ever played rugby league, and absolutely love Petro. What a legend. Next one I had is Steve Price. Steve Price, man, what a legend he was, man. Played for the Bulldogs, done so much. He played for the Warriors, didn't he, Steve Price? I believe he played for the Warriors. Price, he's a legend, man. You know, when he couldn't play in the 2004 grand final, Thurston gave him his fucking premiership ring, and Thurston went, nah, fuck it, I don't want it. It's all yours, Price. You deserve it, mate. The best bloke on this earth or something, Thurston said. Unbelievable. Steve Price, he was probably the best meter eater, to be fair. And then all these other guys come in and just went berserk. But Steve Price makes my team, man. Absolute legend. And the other one I went with is Paul Gallen. Paul Gallen's an absolute, he's an absolute grub. But look at his career, man. Look at his career at Cronulla, New South Wales. He won one Origin series only because look at the Queensland team he was up against. It was just unbelievable. It was absolutely ridiculous what he was up against. And what he did for Cronulla, one club player, played over 300 games, led them to their Sharks to their first grand final, capped New South Wales to their first Origin series win in 2014. That was the first win they had since 2005. What else did he done? He played for Australia, done so much for rugby league in general. Gallen, G-Train, absolute legend, and I think he deserves to be in this team. And my coach, best coach of all time, I'm going to go with Craig Bellamy, man. Bellyache, what he's done at Melbourne is just absolutely unbelievable. Bellyache, he is an absolute legend. Remember when he first came in, I was listening to the Matty Johns podcast when Cameron Smith was on, and Matty Johns said, when Cameron Smith was on here, well, Smithy said, when he was a young fella, Bellamy come in 2003, I think it was, and they just absolutely flogged the fuck out of the playing group, and they just got disciplined into the Melbourne Storm, and the dynasty started from probably there, and the success didn't really come till probably 2005, 2006, and then 07, and then it just went. It goes on to this day. You know, a lot of people will say Wayne Bennett, but I think Bellamy's overtaken Wayne Bennett. Another coach that a lot of people overlook is a bloke. Fuck, what's his fucking name? I remember Joey and Freddie talking about him on Freddie in the 8th a couple of weeks ago. What's his fucking name? Gee, this is embarrassing. I can't think of his name now. Fuck. Anyway, I'll write who the coach was in the comment section below. I can't think of it on the top of my head. But, yeah, he was... I can't think of his name, but I'll write in the comment section. He was an absolute legend as well. He's done so much for rugby league. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here now. I hope you guys enjoyed my 1-17. My best rugby league team of all time. A lot of people will have a completely different team than what I had. But different eras. It's hard to put it all together, but just for fun, I thought I would do that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys probably in the next one, which might be the corner post. I'm not too sure yet. Well, I'll figure it out. See you guys in the next one.